What is going on, fish world? Welcome back to AquaMalik. In the live stream today, a few people commented and said I have my fish trained, and I actually don't. They just behave more naturally during the daytime hours, just like how they would in nature, I would assume. And there are a few things that I'm doing to achieve this. And so this video is going to focus on the L134 leopard frog Plecos, which are more skittish animal, or skittish, considering most people would say that, and how we can get our L134s to be more active and exhibit a lot of the naturalistic behaviors that they would in nature. So I did catch these guys in here doing some courtship, spawning behavior. It's very extensive, it's quite long. I will put a lot of that throughout here in the B-roll, so you guys can see some of that, of these animals doing their really intricate courtship dance. Is really nice actually. I'm pretty excited that I caught it on film, and I think I'm one of the first people to ever catch this on film, at least to release it to the public. So I talked about a lot of this on the live stream. If you guys have not been joining the live streams, I live stream on Fridays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. I would say join the live stream. You guys can get a lot of your questions answered right there. And so this video is more specifically about the 134s, but a lot of these techniques can be used with all your other Plecos as well to get them to be more active during daytime hours.
Produced by Malik.
So the first thing you want to do is, you can see in this tank, it is much more naturalistic setup. I believe the sterile tanks, although they are easier to maintain and clean and keep healthy in terms of water quality, a more naturalistic tank with a small amount of sand or some type of substrate, ideally sand is probably your best option for this type of fish, is probably better. So your tank having the right amount of cover for the animals, so the caves, the structures, all these other things play a vital role in keeping the animal comfortable and in turn doing more naturalistic behavior. Now these guys are not the most active animals, so you cannot expect them to be out and swimming about like these dither fish that I have, but having dither fish definitely makes a huge difference in their activity level. So these guppies, for example, these are endless live bearers. They're really nice. They're black bar red endless live bearers. I got these particular fish from Pleco Fever, and they do really well in this tank as well as my zebra Pleco breeding tank. And in turn, my fish, my main target fish in the tank, definitely do act a lot more better and more. They're not as afraid of the environment that of me or whatever is going on, so they come out a lot more. And also it's a polyculture setup, so the guppies definitely breed. These guys are worth quite a bit of money. They're very beautiful fish, and I do sell them every once in a while when I have extras, usually to other fish keepers. I don't actually make enough to sell to pet stores, but I definitely do make enough to sell, to make a bit of change for fish food and this and that. So it's a worth polyculture having these guppies breeding in the same tank as them. Now having a lot of flow is not important for these guys from my experience, but a little bit of flow is good. Good filtration is important. And aside from that, they definitely do seem to enjoy being in a group. So I have a group of 10 in this tank, and I also had a group of 10 in another tank. And what I noticed was when they are in a group, they act more naturally. There's a little bit of a hierarchy going on. There's definitely more dominant fish. There's definitely less dominant fish. And there's a little bit of a pushing around going on, and that seems to make them all comfortable. So when they're all in a group, they seem to do much better. At least that's my observation. And also they breed in my tank in a group. So there's 10 fish in here, and there doesn't seem to be any aggression between the 10 fish to the point where they are hurting or killing anybody. So far so good. So this group seems to be good for me so far, and I am keeping an eye on aggression, but I'm not too worried about this particular group. So being in a group seems to work really well, and I think that's a really good thing for them, and that also seems to help the fish become more active. Now, a lot of people want to know what other types of Plecos you can keep with them, and I don't recommend keeping a lot of other types of Plecos, especially other types of Hypancestris, not because of hybridization, but just because the temperature requirements for other Hypancestris might not be ideal with these guys. But the one fish that I know that you can keep with them is the L199 Hypancestris furunculus or the yellow zebra Plecos, because they definitely do work together in the same tank. And having both species or small groups of both might be a good way to actually create your fish to become more active, because the other fish being there, like it's just like you being in a situation. Be the fish, think like you are the fish. And if there are other fish out and about doing their thing, then chances are there's not a lot of danger. That's why the other fish are out and being comfortable, right? So that pushes your existing fish to also come out and do more stuff. So adding other types of Plecos, you might be able to add some Hypancestris furunculus, similar dietary requirements, similar water parameters. They breed in the same waters, and the Hypancestris furunculus doesn't require the tank to be in the mid 80s, whereas these guys also are the same thing. They would do good in the low 70s, 72, 73 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 22, 23 degrees Celsius, all the way up to about 27, 28 degrees Celsius, which is about 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And anything in between those two, so 72 to 82, would be ideal for these particular fish, and the same thing works for your Hypancestris furunculus, for example. So other animals that are not in the same genus, Picoltia, which is what the genus these guys belong to, so that you avoid hybridization, is a good way to go. And keeping them in the tank together definitely seems to help. Aside from that, the next thing is, I guess, feeding on a regular schedule, and having your light cycle on a regular schedule definitely is a good thing. And I think having some type of routine seems to be good for the animals, where they know that the food is coming at a specific time, or when the lights come on, for example. If you were to always feed them when the lights came on, then and your lights were on a specific time schedule, then I think that would be a good thing for the animals to know that that time there's food coming, and they would be more active at that particular time. So that's a really good trick I think you can use. Aside from that, I think definitely having sand or some type of substrate instead of a bare bottom tank, I think I'm going to re-stress that, I talked about it earlier as well, is going to make your fish a lot more active, because they come from sandy riverbed type of environments where there is a sand river bottom. It's not a glass bottom where it's like almost a mirror where the fish can see its own reflection, which is probably not comfortable for the animal. I mean, think about ourselves being in a sterile environment, and a sterile room, for example, in a hospital, for example, although it is quite clean and safe, you feel nervous, right? Same thing could happen to your fish. So think about that for a bit as well, and try to create an environment where the animal feels more comfortable, and that should help with your situation. I will be making a lot more videos about these particular fish, so stay tuned, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you do not miss out on all those cool videos, as well as many other cool videos that I'm bringing to you through this channel. And as always, thank you so much for your love and support. If you find value in this content, please share it with your networks, and I will see you on the next video. I love you all. God bless you.
Produced by Malik.